Seems legit.
Hello Legitimates, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a really quick, really fun Christmas project, and that is these adorable little stockings. Now obviously everybody's made stockings, but did you know that Brimax Solutions has templates? So these were made, you can see the video, I didn't speed anything up. They are super fun, super quick, and all the patterns and instructions come as a template. So let's go.
I am starting with this grippy spray. This is new to me, and again, I got it from the Brimax website. I'll put a link down below. But basically, we just lightly spray it on, and it makes it a little bit cloudy, but still see-through. And I'm probably doing it too close. I think I was supposed to do it a little bit further away than that. But basically, you spray it on, wait 60 seconds, and then it dries completely and utterly. So it's not tacky or sticky to the hand. And then after that, it should just stick to the fabric. So you are seeing in this video right now, me put it directly onto the fabric. So it just sits it down, and then watch this. It moves everything with it. And then I would show you. So I've only put that on one side. See how it slides otherwise? This stuff is amazing and an absolute game changer. I am already going to like this way more than my grip stickers. This stuff's awesome. Anyway, so let's cut out just one boot. I got this as a remnant from Spotlight today, so it is perfect for this. And I'm just going around. My blade is starting to get a little bit blunt, so that's why I'm going so slowly. I have to put a little bit of pressure on, and I like to move around my template. In a perfect world, I'd have a spinning cutting board, but I got rid of it, unfortunately. So we're going to cut around that, and look how quick that was. I always like to lift the fabric instead of the template, just in case, like moments like here where I've missed a bit and those little bits of strands there are still attached. You see here, I turn around, and once I go that way, we're all good. So that was the outside. So this is a quilting cotton. You can also see it lets go of the fabric from the template as well. So that's quilting cotton. Now I'm going to take some poplin. So this is just really cheap, $2 a meter poplin in a pale green. And I folded it over so there's 4 layers. So I'm going to get 2 boots, or 2 socks, whichever way you want to look at it, out of this single cut. I'm just making sure that the top is going to get all 4 layers because that edge is a bit jagged, which again is fine. So this is the quick way to do it. So I'm going to get 2 sets out of this, and we're just going to cut around the template. And again, this is why I love templates. So I do plan on making quite a few of these. I bought pale green and pale blue to start with for the lining. You could also just get red for Christmas if you wanted to. However, I find that red doesn't actually go with most of the fabrics I got. So that one's not stuck as you'd think. It was just slightly stuck. It's not sticky, so that didn't actually stick on there. But there's the 2 sets, and then there's the 2 for each set. Next, we're going to move on to the other piece of the template, which is the little boot accent. So I'm going to have this folded in half, and then when I fold it up, because it's non-directional, I can make a strip and cut multiples at the same time. So you can see here, it's in half, and then I folded it up again. So this one cut here will give me 1 full set. So we're just going to go up and across. It is not a perfect square, so it does have a bit of an angle, which is perfect. I think it looks better like that. And that's it. That's all you need. I'm going to cut some more, but you get 2 in there. They're quite a large piece. You could, of course, make this out of fleece, minky, fur, whatever floats your boat. I'm doing these ones because it's going to be cheaper. This is a quilting cotton because I did decide that the poplin would be too thin. So just think about like how see-through your white really is. I have had to record over myself here as the vocals were a bit distorted, and we don't need that. But as you can see here, I've got 2 exterior, 2 lining, 2 of the white parts, and here I've got some ribbon to have the little loop. I'm going to cut mine at 5 inches, but if you want a longer or a shorter loop, that's entirely up to you. I just decided 5 was an easy number to remember, and it looks pretty. So the first thing we're going to do is to take the 2 white ones and put them right sides together, if it has a right and a wrong side. I don't think quilting cotton does, so that's relevant. And then I'm going to stitch with a 2.5 stitch length, and I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance for the entire pattern. So when we get to the middle, you kind of angle back down again and then back stitch at the other end. Back stitching is super important as it's locking everything in. And then cut off your tails and don't do what I do and throw them on the floor. I forgot my bin, so everything is just going away for this video, but it's fine. Now, I love a good production sewing line, so everything's going to have white thread, and we are going to, again, right sides together, and I'm just going to chain stitch this into the next one. So you can start at either side. We need to remember to leave the top open, but we're going to do one continuous stitch around. You can start at the heel or the toe, it doesn't actually matter. And we're just going to go around with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now that toe section there is the most tricky part because it is such a tight curve, but I'm sure that even beginner sewers will be fine with it. You've just got to make sure it stays as flat as possible and go slowly. That is the big one. And then we're going to get to the end here. Oh, I just ran out of bobbin. Hold up. Right. Back to a fresh bobbin. You want to go back about 1 inch of the stitching and then back stitch over the old stitches, and it also locks in the new stitches. And then we're going to get to the end and we're going to back stitch. And then we're going to grab our exterior. Now you can do exterior first and then lining. It doesn't matter. Any of these pieces can be done in any order. So long as you get all 3 sets sewn together, we'll be fine. So here we go again. I like to start at the heel, apparently. I've just noticed this in the video. That is also fine. Slower on the curves, faster on the straight bits. It's always good to practice speed along your straight parts. I think you'll find that you will increase speed if you practice it, like anything. So here we go. We're to the end. Again, we're going to back stitch. I keep pushing the pedal as if it's going to lift it from my other machine, so just ignore that if you can tell I'm doing it. And then we're going to take the exterior piece and turn it right sides out. And I'm going to poke my fingers all the way to the end. If you've got a turning stick, now's a great time to use it. You could have also used your pinking shears or zigzag scissors and cut around the edge as well. I'm also going to get rid of that little tail. We don't need that. Now this one we leave inside out, and then I'm going to put my fingers all the way to the toes and push it inside. Now you can't really see, and I'm sorry for that. I've also just broken the mount for my phone. I'm having a great day today. So we're going to line up the seams at the sides or front and back or whichever way you want to call it. I'm just really sorry you can't see that, but we are putting clips at the front and the back, and then I'm going to put my hand in and just make sure that the lining is sitting smoothly. Smooth is key. So you can see there we've done the front and the back. And then we are going to grab our piece of ribbon. I lost my piece. It is actually under the white thing. I'll find it in a minute, but I didn't know that at the time. So I'm going to fold it in half, and on the heel end, we are going to add the ribbon in so that the raw edges are also facing up, and then the ribbon is kind of tucked inside, touching the lining. And then this one, what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half so that we get the raw edges together, but you also want to make sure that the seam is all facing one way so it's not weird and twisty on the inside. So you can see there I'm feeling it to make sure it hasn't twisted, and then I'm lining up the seam allowance on the front and the back, like so. And then just smooth it out. Now again, you can iron this if it's going to help you. And then we're going to tuck this inside the stocking. So everything's just going inside the stocking. Trust the process here. I know we've got raw edges and it might seem weird, but I did one beforehand just to make sure my theory was going to work, and it's going to work out fine. So now we want to align all of the seams on all of the edges. You can't see me doing it. It's in my lap. I'm sorry. But we are going to line all the seams, mainly just the front and the back, and make sure that your ribbon doesn't fall down. There's the other bit there. And then I'm just going to put one extra clip on the 2 side pieces to hold them in place. It'll just make sewing quicker if everything's already lined up. But too many clips is sometimes a hindrance. So for this particular one, I'm just going to use 4. You could, of course, use pins. If you started as dressmaking, pins might be more your thing, in which case you can run over them and put in as many as you like. So you can see there, I've now got 4 pins, and I'm just going to peel that back, and we're going to stitch with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, just like always. You'll notice I did do a back stitch, and then we're just going to keep twisting the stocking around. It's more of a sock than a stocking, in my opinion. But anyway, I digress. So 1/4 inch and then back stitch at the front, like the start and the finish. And you should overlap a few of your stitches just to make sure. Trim off your tails and any fuzz you've got there. And that tail as well, because we don't want it in the way. Now we're just going to take some scissors and cut off about half of the seam allowance. Any is fine. You don't want to get too close to the stitches because you could wreck something, but you just want to cut off a chunk of it. I like to do about half, but I'm eyeballing it. Don't draw a line to do exactly half. That's a waste of your time. Just approximately will work out fine. Put the rubbish aside, and then we're going to take the white part and then push it over. And now you can see that we can get to our ribbon, and it's all going to sit beautifully. So in my fingers, I'm going to roll it back and forth to get that seam right on the edge. You can add clips if you want to all the way around, or you can iron it. Ironing it is a very good option as well. I will give these an iron before I finish them. And then we're just going to top stitch a 1/4 inch down from the edge. So again, you want to make sure that seam is right on the edge so that it's not one side more than the other. We don't want to see the lining on the outside, and we don't want to see the outside on the lining. You want to get it as close to perfect as you can, and the 1/4 inch seam allowance will both hold that edge down so it stays where it's told and hide all of our raw edge from the sewing. So there is now no exposed seam anywhere. And I like to keep twisting it around as I go. And I'm just lining it up using my fingers like pins and then dragging it around because it is a small cylinder shape. And that's pretty much it. Once we get back to the start, we're going to backstitch, trim off our tails, which is right now. I'm going to trim them roughly and then get closer when it's not attached to the machine, like so. And that's it. Give it an iron and you're good to go. Now you can add a HTV name to it. There's one in blue, so I've got a blue lining and a blue ribbon, but they're all very cute. And if you know me, you know where that second stitch one is headed. But I hope this video was somewhat helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Please make sure that you like this video if you did like it, and subscribe to my channel to see all of my future videos. It should alert you. I do a lot of lives lately. But yeah, thank you for joining.